Hey, True Believers. Chris Mack coming at you with Wolverine number 25. This is how to tell a story. This was excellent. Now, heads up, if you're looking for like big first appearances or triple team crossover event or 1/100th cover variant, this is not the book for you. Now, if you want some awesome old school artwork done by an excellent team with a great story to push the narrative, then this book is for you. The print date on this was June 1990. And it's called Air Aid. And this story takes place in Madripoor. But before we dive into this, let's talk about who made this. This is Joe Duffy, writer, John Buscema, artist, Ken Bruzenak doing the lettering, Glynis Oliver doing the colors, Bob Harris was the editor, and Tom DeFalco was the editor-in-chief. And just right off the bat, I love how the art team, especially John Buscema's pencils, this to a degree reminds me of Frank Miller's run on the first volume of Wolverine. And it starts out very noirish. And I like how Wolverine talks about all the different masks he wears. Like when he's in Madripoor, you know, he came here after his supposed death during, I think it was the fall of the Mutants when they went through the Siege Perilous. So he says he comes here from time to time. He goes, I've been hanging out here for a while since I died, taking with me my real identity of Logan and the name the world knew me by as the mutant berserker, Wolverine. Usually these parts I hide one eye and call myself Patch. I know it's hokey, but it's enough of a cover suit to suit me. But tonight I've left Patch home. Tonight's old business. Patch is part of Madripoor's rich and famous, a barfly who hangs out with the toughest of the tough, with a major crime lord, and sometimes even with the prince. Tonight I'm out among the small fry and the dregs. So it starts out like an old school, like noirish detective story. Someone from his past has called upon him from a favor that he owes. His name is Morrow. And you come to see that Logan is on this side of Madripoor called Wharfside. There's about to be a gang war for territory. And Logan's thinking that Morrow's recruiting him to be part of the war. But what it really is even though he's going to war, he's like, you've held this favor I owe you over my head for years, always tantalizing and never calling it. And now you want me to waste it, having me babysit your girlfriends? The young ladies are not my girlfriends. They are the attendants. Now, before I give this away, I think if I would have read this like a year and a half ago, it wouldn't have hit as hard as this issue did. But now, you see the women that he was talking about, and then you see Daddy, and this is Gabriel. Now that I'm a father, this hits harder. And it hits Logan too. He goes, Daddy, and you see his cigarette fall. So Morrow is going to war with the other side, with in Wharfside to take control of the territory. And he's asking Logan to please watch over his son. Like, he has the women there to take care of his needs, but he needs a male there to just kind of protect the household. And so what happens is the little boy is ready for bed. And I'm pretty sure when my little one starts to talk, he's going to kind of be like this. He's like, I can't sleep. What do you want me to do about it? Could you maybe tell me a story? I don't know any stories. It's not his fault he's 6. However old he is, and scared. And here, Logan goes, wait, I might know a story. And so Logan's like, let me tell you about a place called Canada, where it's covered in snow. There's beautiful creatures, both, peaceful and dangerous. And of course, the curiosity, what's snow? Snow's like feathers, cold as ice, falls like rain and makes all the land white. I don't believe in snow. Believe it for now, it's part of my story. So here, we actually get into some insight of Logan's backstory as a child. Like at this point in history, Wolverine Origin has not come out. all that's come out was Barry Windsor Smith's Weapon X in the pages of Marvel Presents. So we kind of get how he was kidnapped and the adamantium was put into him. But Logan here, from his own mouth, says, one day a long time ago in the heart of the Canadian winter, the snow time, there came a young boy. And the boy was alone and afraid and thought he was going to die. He had been cast out by his people because he was small and weak. And so their leader, his father, decided the boy was a coward and useless. So Logan talks of how he was exiled, which contradicts what Joe Quesada did with Origins. And the boy's terrified. He's surrounded by a pack of rabid Wolverines, which feels a little too on the nose. But I like how the little boy gets up, because my kiddo does this when I'm laying in bed with him. He gets up, taps my shoulder. I won't like the story if the boy dies. He wouldn't have liked it much himself. And I don't know for sure why things went the way they did. So here, I like how the art is it seems basic, but it hits the way it needs to. It doesn't need to be dark. It's just telling a story, and it shows how Logan was raised by Wolverines, and what kind of causes him to become what he becomes. And I like how the little boy says, so the boy wasn't a coward anymore? Maybe he never was. But he was little and weak and afraid. When you're a runt, there's plenty to be afraid of. All you can do is the best you can with the size you are and the guts you've got. And with that said, we get back into this war where the other person that he's warring with, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I'll see if I can't find it right quick. Hang on. Pigott. P-I-G-G-O-T, Pigott. So Pigott has brought mobsters to Morrow's home. And we see what the runt is capable of here. It's just a great contrast, especially when all hell breaks loose in Morrow's home, especially what we see with Gabriel. Now, I don't want to give any more of this book away, but there's one last panel that made me smile. Wolverine talks about how he doesn't care who runs Worf's side. But when the next generation rolls around, I know who I want running this into town. Guys, it may not seem like the biggest spectacular Wolverine book ever made, but for the sake of good storytelling, my God, Wolverine number 25 is excellent. I love the contrast of Wolverine's story when he was young compared to what he is now, with telling the story to this little boy. Maybe too that I'm biased because I'm a father now, and it just hits different. But nonetheless, the artwork is spot on. It just gives that right noirish feeling. It's not too dark, but it just hits just right. So if you've enjoyed this comic book, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little Wolverine bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love to hear your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.